All right. So in our last class, right, we discussed about Firebase, right? I was able to show us how Firebase is being set up, how you set things up with Firebase, how you go ahead and um, also store your API files or API keys rather to connect to your Firebase. Then I also showed us how docs work, how you can go ahead and read documentations to be able to implement whatever it is you want to implement with an API. So that's what I try to do. So um yeah, that's basically what it is. So now in today's class, I'm just going to go over these things again so that you can understand what exactly we are trying to do. So what exactly am I saying? So I'm just going to go ahead and let me comment all of these things out. Okay. Now, just before we move on, right? There's something that I want everybody to know. Again, I said it in our last class that before you start writing code at all, before you start doing anything on your computer or writing any code, you need to know what you want to write first. Else, what you write is going to be nothing. Like in short words, it's actually going to be what? Nothing. Because what you want to write, you don't even know what you want to do. You're just writing code. It's not possible. List out every single thing you want to do first before you start writing codes in JavaScript. Now, in this place, now I listed some things out. I listed 3 things out. The first thing is that users should be able to what? Sign up with email and password. Now, apart from that, we should be able to what? Store user data in the what? In the database, in the Firebase database. Now, users should also be able to what? Log in with email and password. Now, these are the 3 most important functionalities right now that we need to work on. So now for us to work on them, we will now start researching on now to do each and every of all of these things. That's how programming works. Again, programming is that, oh, you understand the basics, variables, data types, functions, all of those things, you understand them. Then after understanding them, what do? You now take on big projects. Oh, I want to work on this. How do I do this? You research. Now, if you don't know the basics of all of those things, like you're researching to be like jargons to you, so you don't really understand it. So what I need everybody to do is understand the basics and go ahead and research for each and every one of these functionalities. Now, what we are doing right now is that we are doing what? Users should be able to sign up with email and password. Now, for us to do that, we have to go ahead and utilize Firebase. Now, let's go back to Firebase. So I'm just going to go back to my Firebase console. Now, this is my docs. Now, if you're in your Firebase console, right, you should see things like this. I hope everybody's here. Is everybody here? Can you see this? Don't worry, you can actually do that later. But can everybody see this? Is everybody on their Firebase console? Okay. So I just need everybody to be on their Firebase console. So now, if you're on your Firebase console, you should be able to see something like this, right? Then I think I told everybody to open authentication in our last class. So I think everybody should be able to enable authentication, right? So now, for us to be able to use authentication, it's not clear. Is it not clear? Is it clear? Okay. Now, for us to be able to use authentication, right? Okay. For you to be able to use authentication, first of all, you need to what? Enable authentication services in your Firebase, right? And that's when I went to security, as you can see, I enabled authentication verification for users. Then the kind of authentication I enabled was what? Email and password. Now, as I said, the first thing that you want to do, now I can go ahead and write codes for you, give you codes, make you copy the codes, working for you, and then it's looking fine. But trust me, you will not learn anything like that. The best way for you to learn is to actually practice it yourself. Now, I told us that you should go ahead and try to know how to read docs, read documentations, right? And I told us that the first thing that you have to do if you want to work on anything at all is first of all search for the docs. So let's say Firebase docs, right? So we can search for Firebase docs. And I search for Firebase docs, you see something like this that says Firebase documentation. So you click on it, and then you go ahead and open up the Firebase documentation. Now, what you're interested in is the build, because you want to build something with Firebase. So, and what you're interested in is authentication. So I'm going to click on authentication to open up the authentication docs. Again, in the authentication docs at the left-hand side here, what you're interested in is web, not iOS, not Android, not Flutter, not C++, not Unity, not admin. What we're interested in is what is web. So I'm going to use web. And in the web, I'm interested in password authentication, because users will sign in with what? Email and password. That's what I'm interested in. So that's how you can go ahead and think about, just read on documentations on how to implement the things you want to do. Do we understand this? Sorry, from where? Firebase. Okay. Now, I'm saying that, let me explain Firebase again. So Firebase is a backend, as I said. Let me start from the beginning. If you are going to be working on an application, how do you work on that application? First, you need to understand front end. You need to understand back end, right? So not you, like your application needs to have both front end and back end. What does the front end do? Front end helps you structure the page, makes it visible, and all of those things. Back end deals with the server, the database, and every other thing. Now, you are a front end developer. You probably don't understand back end. You don't even understand back end right now. So what happens is that if you want now to build something very complex, like your project now, there's no backend developer. How do you go ahead to build it? That is where backend as a service applications come into play, or technologies come into play. So what they do is that now, yes, let's say you want to build a full stack application, but you don't have a backend developer, you don't really have knowledge of backend. They now create a backend as a service software or technology that you can now integrate into your front end, like a template. You understand it now? Now, but for now, for you to use that template, you need to understand how that template works, how to utilize it, and how to bring it into your front end to make it work. Do you get it now? Now that's what Firebase is. Now, Firebase can also be used on the back end. It does not mean that cannot also be utilized. Can be, but you as a front end developer can just utilize it. So there's a ready-made code already somewhere that has been written to make your authentication, whatever it you want to work. All you have to do is what? Call it with an API. Remember what I said about API? Call it with an API into your front end and make it work. That's all. Now, how do you make things like this work? So what you have to do right now is that you have to, first of all, Firebase console. Just search for Firebase. You should see something like this: Firebase, Google Firebase, blah blah blah. Discover Firebase. Click on it. Then, since you have a Google account, I know you should see go to console here. So you click on go to console also. I see go to console. Yeah, click on it. We should then create project, blah blah blah. Click on create it. Create something. So yes. And then it's not you enter your project. I guess I click on it, click on that place. Then it should show you enter project name. Yeah, put your project name, then move on to next. And my own is not what because it said I cannot do any project again. Sorry? That project yeah, you can just use the name. Let's say user authentication, my first authentication project. You can do it. So after that, you should be able to see what's the moment? I think it's free. Just see now authentication. User just free. No, yeah, that's okay. So if when it's done creating, what you should see now is again in case for those people that probably do not understand that this is like another time for you to get this. So once it's done creating, you should see something like this. Is that what you can see? Once it's done, let me know. So you see something exactly like that. Yeah, not you. Like she has not created on. So I'm just huh? How is it? Okay. It's the same thing. It's the same thing. Yeah, it's the same thing. Your this side, this place is just opened for you also. It's the same thing, don't worry. Now, if you can see this, right, you should be able to see add app. Can you see add app here? Click on add app. Then can you see like one HTML tag web exactly? Click on web. So once you click on web, it shows you this. You can go ahead and put my web app, blah blah blah. Just write any name there. Then register app. So once you click on register app, it is going to show you series of codes. Can you see it now? Now on the series of code, what you are seeing should be you should either see you should see npm tag, npm and script tag. Is that what you can see? Coming. So you understand this does right now. So now what you just copy inside of your firebase with config.js looks exactly like my own that is here. So this one that is here, right? So now what exactly is this thing that you just copied? What you just copied is known as your API credentials. So inside of your API credentials, you have your API key, you have the domain of the domain, you have the project ID. Now, all of these things are exactly what is going to connect your local project here and your Firebase project. Just like your normal, it's like your GitHub, right? Something connecting this one and the other one. But this time around, it is basically API, strictly API. Without this API key, your project is useless. This API key is like your authentication, and your API key should never be public. Get to that security part, because hackers can take your API key and your API credentials and then attack whatever it is you built. That's why I see people losing money anyhow, or people their application crashing easily. Because hackers will take all of these things and then attack whatever it is you built. So what you need to do is that make sure that this API key you don't share it with anybody. The only reason why I'm seeing this is because project is nothing. It's not really important. That's why you can see my own. If not, I would have, probably stored it in a .env environment to be able to protect it. But for now, understand that whatever it is you just copied here is what you use in initializing your application. All right. Now, moving on now. Moving on, we'll move on to the documentation part. Now, this documentation part, I told us that for you to be able to use or do anything at all with Firebase, you need to be able to understand how it works. So search Firebase docs, right? What we are interested in is how to sign up, how to register, isn't it? It's not what we're interested in. So I can go to Firebase documentation. You have a question? Okay. So which one? Okay, which project? Okay. They will be connected. You link them together. So it's linking. So for instance, you're not connecting them. If you want to go to sign up.html, you put a link that says sign up.html. If you want to go to login.js or HTML, do the same thing that goes to login.html. It's linking. I think we did this if I gave us an assignment on it in the beginning. So you just have to link from one place to another. So now let's say you want to okay, let's just say this Firebase docs, right? Let's say you want to build authentication. How do you do it? Now, I'll just go the old-fashioned way. Can you see search at the top here? This particular search here, you can search for whatever it is you want to build. So you can say how to authenticate users and click on enter. Now, it's an AI-powered search, so it will bring out different things for you to know how to authenticate users. Now, if you check it out, as you can see, Firebase authentication, Firebase docs and auth. So it says Firebase lets you add end-to-end identity solutions to your app for easy user authentication. Now, this looks like what we're looking for, right? Don't be in a haste to click on anything. Read through the documentation first, because everything is actually your own until you see another one that is even something that you might need more. Do you get it now? Now, if you check this out also, Firebase product authentication. Well, this also looks like it, but this is not what we're looking for. Now, if you come down here now, can you see authenticate with Firebase using password-based accounts? Then check the file part here, Firebase, docs, auth, web, and what? Password authentication. So this actually makes it much more likely that okay, this is what I'm going to be needing. Because if you check all of these ones, I'm saying doc and auth, products and auth, we are not really interested in web and password-based signing. So now you can check others. So if you check other, I don't think anyone again actually suits something like that. So we can go ahead and we'll just click the stored one and then open up the documentation. Now, if you open up the documentation, you should see that, oh, it gives you an instruction before you begin add Firebase. I think we've all done this. We've all done this. And okay, you've not done this. It said on the sign up tab, enable email password. So what you should do is that in your normal Firebase console, what you should do is scroll down to kind of security here at the left. I see security. What can you see in this place? Can you see authentication in this place? Okay, so maybe what you are seeing is this. This is what you are seeing. Can you look at my screen, please? Is this what you are seeing? Check this down here. The left here. Can you see something like No, not that. I'm saying I look at this fire. Yeah, you know, can you turn it? Let me see it. That's your Firebase docs. I'm saying go to your console. So there is a difference between console and docs. Console is where you like control your app. Docs is where you read how to control your app. You understand? So go to your Firebase console. Just search for. Did you leave your console before? Okay. Go to your Firebase console. If you go to your Firebase console, what you have to do is this down that this place that is here. Click on it and then go ahead and look for security. So everybody there will you see security. Can you see it? Yeah, good. Click authentication. Now, if you click authentication, you should be able to see something like this that says, you know, I'm just going to edit this configuration again and remove it. Just a moment. So now, if you remove it, this is what you should see. You should see cloud storage. You should see email and password. Can you see email and password? Click on email and password. Once you click on email and password, to bring something like this out. Can you see it? So click on enable. That's the first one. Don't enable the second one and save. Do you understand it now? That's exactly what you need to do. Have you done it? You should go to. Have you done it? Okay. So that's basically what you have to do. So sorry. I see. Can you turn it a little bit, please? Open the application you created. Then I scroll down on this left place here. You should see security. Click on it. Can you see authentication now? Click on authentication.
Yes, I did.
So if you're on authentication, if you see, can you see email and password? Yeah, I click on get started, then you should see email and password. Click on email and password. Just the first one. The first one that says email slash password. Then see. Yes, don't click on the second one, just the first one. So once you do that, you should can you see status enabled? Exactly. So that's it. That's what you need for now. Okay, so now what I am saying now is that if you've been able to do that, if you come to the docs, right? I hope everybody's here. If you come to the docs now, you should see create a password-based account. Do you understand? Now, it is now this docs you will now use in making whatever it is you want to work functional. So it tells you, oh, for it to work with these docs, create a new account by passing the new user's email address and password to where? To create user email and password. Please, I need everybody to get this. It says create a new account. I want you to read these docs. It says to create a new user account with a password. Complete the following steps in your app's sign up page. Can you see it? The first step is what? When a new user signs up using your app's sign up form, complete any new account validation steps that your app requires, such as verifying the new account password correctly typed or meet your complexity requirement. Now, that is your own thing. That's your own personal, whatever it is you want to do. It's technically that, okay, if you want to use this, you have to first of all set your own rules. Then the second one is to what? Create a new account by passing the new user's email address and password to where? To this particular module that says what? Create user with email and password. Now, this particular number 2 is for them. It's what makes their own function work. on your own application. Do you understand now? So that's how you can use their docs, read their docs and understand how all of these things work. Now, looking at it now, look at what they did here. There are two modules here, right? The first one says what get auth. Second one says create user with email and password, right? And where is it coming from? Firebase auth, meaning that what there is already a function that was created in Firebase auth. Two functions. One of the functions is what get auth. The second function is what create user with email and password. Do you get it now? Now, this I explained modules to us in our last class. I said modules are functions from another file or an external file that is not necessarily from your own file or your own project. That's what modules are. So Firebase, I told you that that's how Firebase actually works. Backend as a service. They've created series of functions for you to implement. All you have to do is what? Call those functions as what? Modules. Do you understand it now? That is why all you have to do is what? Call this particular create user with email and password as a module from Firebase on. Now, all I have to do now is go ahead and copy all of these things. So I can copy all of these things and then I can paste it in my code here, right here. So now, what exactly did I copy? Show us what I copied now. So what exactly did I copy? What I copied was, just a moment. So what I copied was what? I copied this import get auth and create user with email and password and then this. Now, one thing you need to know is that whatever module you are importing has to come first at the beginning. So this is a module, right? I cannot put it at the middle of my page. I have to carry it and take it back to the top. So your module should always be the first thing that you are trying to import. You understand? Then you cannot use it. Like you have to first of all declare your module. So I copied it and put it back at the top. Now, what exactly are we getting? What exactly are we importing? We are importing get authentication, and we're importing what? Create user with email and password from where? Firebase auth. Do you understand? Now, if you remember at the beginning when I was trying to tell us codes to copy, I told you that you should have seen npm, right? And then script tag. Then I told you to click on script tag. Everybody did this. Click on script tag to be able to copy your credentials. Now, npm is an acronym for Node Package Modules. Now, what is it used for? Basically, it's used for what? Installing Node dependencies. So I'm not actually going there. I don't want to give us a lot of information right now. They are easy. Now, what is Node? Node, let me explain it. JavaScript is a programming language. JavaScript runs on the web, right? It is basically for the web. Now, Node is not like a Node is not like a runtime engine, sometimes a framework. You understand? That is now used in making JavaScript much more accessible first, flexible, and there's one word I'm trying to look for, versatile. You understand? That is why in today's world, I see that you're using JavaScript to build backend, using JavaScript to build frontend, using JavaScript to build mobile applications. In fact, you can even use JavaScript in AI right now. You understand why? Because they've now created more runtime engines and they've created other other frameworks that you can now use in running of these things. Now that's basically what Node is. But right now we're not using any framework. If you want to go into React, you need to understand how Node works so that you can use Node in installing React, right? Or you can use Node in running React, something like that. Do you get it now? And that's how Node works. But right now, we're not really interested in Node. We are interested in what script tag, this particular script tag here in your HTML. That's what we're interested in. How to connect HTML and script tags without being interested in any framework at all. So when I say you should click on script tag, what happened? You can now see that it's imported as a script tag. Now, why am I explaining that? I'm explaining that because this particular import here is used in importing modules that run in a framework. Frameworks like React. libraries like React, frameworks like Next.js. Do you get it now? That's why it has firebase /all. But since you're not using a library, what are we going to use? We're just going to go ahead and copy this particular link and use it here in this place. But in this place, what is it saying? It's saying www.gstatic.com/firebase blah 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 firebase-app.js, right? Is that not what this place is saying? This first line. Now, if you now want to import from auth, what you have to do is copy this same code, copy this same link that is here, right? And replace it in this place. Now, since you replaced it, change the app that is here to auth, since that's where you're trying to get it from. You know, before it was firebase /auth. But in this place, since we are not using since we are not using this thing, what's the name? Since we are not using a framework and we are using it directly from the API source, we're going to change from what? Firebase /auth to firebase-auth.js. This same link, just that different file location. Do you get it now? Now that's basically what I want to explain in that part. So that's basically everything for your setup. You can now go ahead and start writing codes now. So do we all understand it up to this point? Do we understand it up to this point? You're following? Okay. So now move on. Now, after getting this particular question. Eh? Okay. Maybe I did the user. How did you add the user?
No, just trying something.
So signing methods, is already working.
Okay.
Yes, it's connected already. You already added. You are just come and show us how you already use that. So his own application already has a user. All right. So now let us move on to the next thing. The next thing now is that we now want to start building the functionalities of the sign-up page. Now I need everybody to listen to it because you're going to be the one to do the login as an assignment. That login, you do it as an assignment because I related on the assignment part. It's time for me to double up back again and start giving assignments. So now, how exactly are you going to go ahead to build something like this? Doing something like this, trust me, is very much easy, right? Because what you want to do is just sign up button. Now, for you to do a sign up button, you need to go to your sign up page and check exactly what is going to be affected. Now, look at it. What will you change in this place? What exactly is going to be affected for a user to sign up? I need answers. For example, okay, if you want to sign up on Facebook, what will you use in signing up? What will you press on the screen? Email, password, sign up. Go to dashboard, then sign up. Good. Yes, exactly. So password, email, sign up, accept them, right? Dashboard. So how will you bring it to this one now? What exactly will you use in signing up? You said it already. Why? Just say it again. Your email, password, accept them or agree to privacy policy, and sign up. So, but technically, you have three: email, password, and sign up. So those three buttons have to be used. So for you to be able to do them, to create the functionality in JavaScript, those three buttons have to be imported from your HTML to JavaScript. That's DOM manipulation, like I've always explained. DOM manipulation is used is when you try to manipulate HTML elements with JavaScript. Just like you're trying to like do your selectors in CSS. It's the same thing with JavaScript. Now, how do you do it? All you have to do is go ahead and bring in whatever it is you used in storing these things in HTML. So I'm going to split my screen. I'm going to come to HTML. So 2 things that I have to bring up. Sorry, sign up. Yeah. 3 things that I have to bring up. The first is going to be my email, which is this. I have an idea of what? Email. So I can go ahead and say, oh, since I'm bringing my email, I can say, let me write it here. So let me just write a comment and say import import sign up elements from HTML. Do you understand? Now the first thing that we're going to be importing is what? Email. So I can say const email equals to what? Document dot query selector, right? And then what are we going to import? As email, right? Email. Good. Now the next one is what? Password, isn't it? So you do the same thing. Const what? Password equals to document dot what? Query selector as password. So if you look at it, password also has an ID of what? Password. Now similarly, your button, that's your sign up button is what? As btn. So you do the same thing. Const what? Sign up btn should now be equals to what? Document dot query selector, right? As btn. Do you get it now? So now you've been able to import the 3 things that you need. You're able to import the 3 things that you need right now. So as you can see, you have your email, you have your password, and you have your sign up button. Now, I want you to check this create user with email and password functionality clearly. Look at the functionality that's here that you have here. See, now the thing is that yes, you don't really need to like understand how everything works, right? But still, we need to understand why they work. Do you get it now? Now, the purpose of using an API is so that you don't have to create the same thing by yourself again. You understand? You don't have to like do ad hoc where you should just be doing something. That's the purpose of API. Do you get it? But yes, even though I'm not doing those workshop stuff, you still need to understand why they do certain things. Now, for instance, look at this highlighted function. What's the function? The function is trying to import a particular module from where? Authentication that says create users with email and password. Do you get it? Now, this create user with email and password takes in PV parameters. Remember what I talked about parameters in your functions. What are parameters? Is it this style that system or what? That resurrected. Everything has resurrected or what? But it's everything died. But what are parameters? What are parameters? Let's tell me. Please show what you have to go. Let's try. Keyword path to perform specific. Good. Now those are parameters. Now this your create user with email and password has to be parameters. First is what? Or second is what? Email of the user. Then the third is what? Password. Now you might be asking me where is this spot from? Check this place. It said import where? Get authentication. This get authentication is just say what? It's just say what? In module from where? Authentication, firebase of. Do you get it now? And then it is now what stored to the value of what of. As you can see, they store it to a variable. So that's why they just called up here. So they are still calling this get authentication. It has already been created for us to authenticate users. That is why it was passed into this word function as a parameter. So in other words, doing 3 things. First one, the authenticating user by getting their email and what password. So it's just English. Trust me, it is not hard. It's just English. When you can read code, just English. Now, then after they've gotten this, what happens? they will get the user credential and try to sign them up. Now, if the user credential is now wrong, it catches the error and tells you exactly what the error is. Now, the error might be that incorrect password or email. Error might be that, oh, maybe what you want from the user is that you want them to put capital letter all through, but they put small letter. It catches that error also and send it through this error message that is here. Can you see what the dot catch and dot 10 I was talking about does for you now? Do you understand? Now, that's basically what it's trying to tell you. Now, there's a list like don't just go ahead and write this code. I want to explain how it works first before writing it out. So now that is basically what your dot 10 and what is not for question tell you. First of all, create user with email and password, and then you're authenticating the user through their email and their password. Now, that is basically what it is. Now, yes, I know you're not the one creating these things yourself. It's Firebase, but you need to understand what Firebase is saying as at that particular time. Now, let us move on. So far, you've been able to understand, you've been able to guess whatever it is you want to get inside of your JavaScript, right? The email, password, and sign up button. It is now time to now start writing this code with start writing our own logic. Now, the first thing I want to do is that whenever we click on this sign up button, right? So whenever we click on this sign up button, what do you want? You want to be able to sign up, right? Meaning that the function is actually going to be tied to an event listener. Which is what? Button. But what is event listener? What is event? No, listen again. The whole function is tied to an event listener. What is the event? What is it listening for? Good, a click event. Do you get it now? So what we have to do is that the whole function that is here, we copy it out, and then we will now call an event. So we can now say sign up, this particular sign up btn dot add event listener. Do you understand it now? So we'll listen for a click event, and then a function. We're going to take an arrow function, and then I'm going to put everything inside of that click event. So whenever we click on click, it's going to go ahead and work. Do you get it now? Now, there is one problem that we're going to face. And what is the problem? I want to check something. If I go ahead and write let me just write any file now. Now, if I click on sign up, note what's going to happen. What happened? I'll do it again so you see it. So look at it. Now, look at it again. What happened? It cleaned it up, but that was not just what happened. It refreshed. No, it refreshed the page. So what happened is that before, I told you about asynchronous functions, and I told you about how they work. What happens is that they have to first of all wait for it to search the database, see if this thing exists, or if it's trying to save something to the database. Now, what happens there is that it did not wait for that thing to occur. It just automatically refreshed. That means no sign up is going to work there. No sign in will work. So how do you prevent this thing from happening? You use a particular method called prevent default. So prevent default will stop that particular function from automatically refreshing. So it's preventing the default settings. So how do you do it? I'm going to pass an event parameter here. We've done it before. Pass an event parameter to a function, and then we'll go ahead and say prevent default. Now, automatically, this is going to stop whatever it is we are doing from automatically refreshing. So if you check it out now, and I put this here and the name, so I want you to check it out. So if you see, as you can see, it's no longer refreshing. No longer refreshing. So to stop it and automatically allow it, process the data the way we want it to process. Now, that is basically how all of these things work. I'm going to pause the recording here. Give us time to write this down first and understand how it works. Then we'll come back maybe in the next 5 minutes to 10 minutes to continue what we are doing.